All right, today we're going to dive into a review of Kimberly Snyder's book, The Hidden Power of the Five Hearts. We're going to break down its core ideas, take a look at the critiques, and even map out how you could put these concepts into practice. So let's get into it.
Okay, so here's the plan. First, we'll get into the book's big idea, the heart's hidden intelligence. Then, we'll walk through its 5-stage journey. After that, we'll get into a balanced critique, lay out a practical action plan, and finally, help you figure out if this book is for you.
All right, first up, the heart's hidden intelligence. This really gets to the core of the book, which kicks off with a really powerful question that I think a lot of us can relate to.
You know that feeling, right? When you're totally pulled in two different directions. Your logical brain is screaming one thing, but your gut, your heart, is telling you something completely different. Well, that inner tug of war is exactly what this book is all about resolving.
So the book's answer to that conflict is this idea of the heart brain. And look, this isn't just some fluffy metaphor. The book actually grounds this in scientific research that suggests our heart has its own kind of intelligence that has a huge impact on everything from our mood to our physical well-being. And really, the promise here is huge. It's all about moving away from that constant mental chatter, the stress and the overthinking, and shifting into a life that's more intuitive, more balanced, and actually guided by this heart intelligence. Okay, so how do you actually do that? Well, the book lays out this really clear framework, which it calls a journey through 5 different stages of the heart. Think of it like a map for your inner self. It starts with the dark hearts, which is all about facing those emotional blocks head on. Then you move to the propelled heart to find your momentum, the steady heart to build up resilience, and the devoted heart to really connect with your purpose. And the final destination? The clear heart, a state where your intuition just flows. It's designed to help you see exactly where you are and what the path forward looks like. And look, this isn't just a bunch of high-level theory. The book gives you a super practical tool to help you along the way. And get this, the time commitment is just 8 minutes a day. That's it. It's called the Heart Aligned Meditation. And honestly, that low barrier to entry makes the whole thing feel way less intimidating, right? And for that tiny daily habit, the author claims a pretty significant result, about a 29% improvement in emotional and psychological balance after just 1 month. Now, that's a pretty bold claim, which kind of brings us perfectly to our next section, a more critical look at all this.
Right, so anytime you hear a claim that big, it's worth taking a closer look. So let's dive into what the review says about the book's actual strengths and weaknesses.
So on the plus side, the review really praises that clear step-by-step framework of the 5 hearts. And the tools, like that 8-minute meditation, are super actionable. But on the flip side, the weaknesses, the review points out that the scientific backing can feel a little thin. Like it's a bit of a leap from the science of heart coherence to, transforming your entire life. Some of the claims might feel a little over the top for some folks. But here's where the book gets really useful, according to the review. It tackles that age-old question: why do we get stuck on our personal growth journeys? So think of the 5 hearts model as a course correction for all the common ways we trip ourselves up. For instance, if you're always leading with your head and getting stuck in overthinking, this book guides you toward heart intelligence. If you react to everything emotionally, it teaches you how to find your center. It's not about ignoring the bad stuff, but actually working through it. Okay, so we've got the theory, we've got the pros and cons. Now for the really good stuff. How do you actually put all of this into practice? The review gives us a fantastic roadmap for that. And wow, this really lays it out as a long-term commitment, not some quick fix. You start with just reading the book and figuring out where you are right now. Then you build that daily meditation habit. Over the next few months, you dig deeper into your emotional blocks. It even maps out quarterly check-ins and what things could look like a year from now. This is a marathon, not a sprint, for sure. All right, that brings us to the big question, the one you're probably asking yourself right now: is this book actually for you? The review really nails the summary with this quote: the book is an invitation. It's a call to action for anyone who feels like there's got to be more to life than just what's going on in their head and wants to explore a more heart-centered way of being. So let's boil it all down. The big strengths? It's got a super clear framework and tools you can actually use. The weaknesses? Some of the claims are pretty out there and probably need to be taken with a grain of salt. Think of it as a really great compass, but you're still the one who has to do the walking.
And that really leaves us with one final, powerful question to chew on. Forget the book for a second. Just ask yourself this. What in your life could genuinely, fundamentally change if you started leading from the heart?